So let's look at ovulation. So as you can see, ovulation is a pretty complex concert of hormones and molecules and eggs and fallopian tubes and everything like that. So typically what happens in the hypothalamus, which is a region of your brain that sits right above the pituitary gland, it releases what we call gonadotropin releasing hormone. And that gonadotropin releasing hormone is released in a pulsatile fashion, meaning it goes like this in a cycle. That hormone acts on the pituitary gland, which releases LH and FSH hormones, again, in a pulsatile fashion. These hormones act on the ovary in the follicular phase to secrete estrogen. When estrogen gets to a certain phase, it triggers what we call the LH release, and that's what women typically measure in their ovulation kits. And once that LH gets over a certain threshold, that's what triggers egg release. Now, let's talk about the LH surge. The LH surge lasts anywhere from 24 to 48, and in some women 72 hours. And so typically ovulation occurs after the initiation of the LH surge, or you can time it from the peak. Now, some of the kits have darker lines, and some of the kits tell you peak, no peak, but typically it's very difficult to detect a peak because remember, the LH goes up and then it comes down, and it depends on when you're gonna test. So in my opinion, it's better to detect the start and to count from the start. So typically you're gonna ovulate anywhere from 48 to 72 hours after the start and about 24 to 48 hours after the peak. Now again, everybody's very different. In some women, again, the LH surge only lasts 24 hours, so some women don't pick it up. Typically it starts in the morning and ends in the morning, so my recommendation is you test in the early afternoon or evening so you pick up that rise in the hormone if your peak or if your surge is only 24 hours. So as you can see, there's a lot of hormones that again have to act in concert for this to occur. So any deviation from what we typically expect can result in anovulation. The most common reason for any kind of problem with ovulation in women is called polycystic ovarian syndrome. And cysts in the ovary in that syndrome is a result, not a cause of this issue. So what's changed in the last 5 years is, in my opinion, that this has significantly revolutionized how we can test, detect, and evaluate ovulation and ovulation quality. Now, before you had to, for example, go to the doctor and get your progesterone level checked, and if it's over a certain threshold, people could have confirmed ovulation for you. The problem I have with that is that it's simply one piece of information in time. And again, remember when I talked to you guys that everything is secreted in a pulsatile fashion. And so progesterone is secreted from the ovary in response to LH, again, in a pulsatile fashion. So your progesterone can be 5 at time 0 and 25, 45 minutes later. So just measuring one progesterone level, to me, can only tell you one thing, whether or not you've ovulated. It doesn't necessarily tell you anything else in terms of the quality of your ovulation, the corpus luteum quality, and the luteal phase. And so what these new home tests have provided for us is the ability to determine essentially the quality of the luteal phase in addition to confirming your ovulation. And it also allows you to not have to leave your home to get the information you need, which in my opinion is very, very beneficial.